Welcome to the Tax Academy. So, this is our participant guide. It will walk you through an outline of what to expect inside of the course, has a little welcome from me, and just a real deep dive into the topics that we'll be going through throughout the course. I always like to start with the end in mind. So, what do you expect to learn at the end of this? I also have a checklist section. So, this is my favorite part of the participant guide. So, if you are new to this course or you're taking the updated version, I always look at the checklist to make sure that I have access to all the things that I need. I set my goals for the season, and I'll just walk you through what to expect here. So, day one, you definitely want to make sure you have your one on one session booked with me. That's where we'll make sure you have access to all of the tools and resources that you need, whether you're a tax preparer or an ERO. Next, I like to do some goal setting. So if you're in the tax business, this is your first time as a tax preparer, or you're a seasoned ERO, you'd probably have some goals for this season. So I want to support you as well. So let's talk through what some of those goals are. If there's a resource I can connect you with, or if there's something I can do to help you just brainstorm or get some ideas together to support you with those goals, I'm really happy to do so. Next, it's just a checklist here to make sure that we're doing a monthly check-in. So I will have some monthly sessions available for us to connect, just talk through what's going on, any troubles you may be having in the software, any concerns, or just, hey, don't really have much going on, then you don't really have to join. They're optional, but I highly recommend doing at least a touch point once or twice during the season to make sure that everything is moving smoothly. Next, marketing and promotion. So, if you're thinking about expanding your practice, these are just some key steps to take in the beginning, or maybe just, hey, a refresher. I've been doing this for a while. Let me just refresh my strategy, take a look at what I have, how am I self promoting, how am I getting myself out there, and some things for you to do at the beginning of the season before things get really crazy. And then a client workflow. So essentially, this is what the process looks like from start, meaning engagement letter, getting the documents, to e-filing, getting payment, all those different things. So these are a suggested flow that you should follow. If you are an ERO and you have your own process in place, great. But at a minimum, your process should cover these few items. Last but not least, this is a checklist. So for every single return, regardless of the state or what that taxpayer has going on, you need to have these fields or screens filled out. So that's going to be screen one, which is all of their demographic or contact information. The e-file screen to select the return, mark it as ready for review. The PIN screen for the ERO or prepare PIN. IDs, you absolutely need to put in some type of ID for your client or taxpayer. And then my favorite, which is a bonus, is making sure that you print the return. So print a full copy of the return so you can see the diagnostics. I call them diagnostics. That goes back to my audit days. But essentially, they're in messages or notes that are generated by the system. If there are any errors, maybe you forgot some due diligence, but these, some will prevent you from e-filing, others may not, but it's really great to look at these before you send a return to be reviewed by anyone. Best practice. Finally, cover a few resources. We have a ton of other resources and templates, PDFs, things within the course itself. But if you just need to get to a few handy numbers, or you want to do a quick estimated tax calculation, you can always refer back to this page for a few handy resources. Now we'll jump in and see what it looks like behind the scenes. So once you purchase the course, you can get started. You'll jump into the first module or the module that you're up to. This is our welcome. So you'll see an overview video, and you'll be able to download the participant guide there. If there are any chapters that you want to skip to, you can also do that here as well. Or you can just say, skip this chapter. I'm just going to click that just to kind of show you the navigation, and it'll bring you to the next module in the session. If you want to click on continue, it'll bring you to the next one. And essentially you can always just navigate to the next part of the course here. There are a few different modules. All of the information is in the participant guide, so you can see what we'll be covering. So in our introduction, we'll talk about a virtual tax practice, what's involved, best practices. Then there's practice management. So this is talking about the things that you need to do before you even start taking clients, things that you need to consider, processes that you should really set in place. Then we have the actual tax return preparation. So here we'll actually walk you through the Drake Web 1040 software. So a license of the software comes with the purchase of this course. And what I love about this is that it's almost identical. There are a few little nuances and things that you have to navigate a little differently when you're doing it online versus on desktop. So we walk you through those nuances, those new screens, how to kind of use the mechanics of the software. It mirrors the Drake desktop software, but it's not exact. So if you're familiar with desktop, then you really won't have too much trouble working with the online web-based software. But again, we do want to call out some of those differences. Next, there's support and resources, and then my favorite section, which is bonus. So if you are a current ERO or aspiring ERO, these are some things to consider, like pricing, types of software. So I have some resources and guides there to help you with making some of those choices within your practice. All right. Like I said before, this course is geared towards CPAs, EAs, and just tax professionals who are looking to be in business for themselves or start their own virtual practice. And these are just some recommendations. You don't have to use all of them, but it's a way to get you started with working in a virtual space for tax practice as opposed to a traditional pen and paper brick and mortar.